This is North Georgia's News Talk.
Dan Ugla, higher batting average than B.J. Upton and Jason Hayward with 5 less at bats. Jason Hayward, the worst average of the everyday player on the entire roster. And ESPN.com is going to write an article about him yesterday that says he needs to be cut? Come on now. 222. Of course, Freddie Freeman. There's never a question. He needs to be cut. 404 is what he's betting. WNBA Draft was last night. As had been predicted, Cheney Agumake, I always say that wrong, went first, Odyssey Sims second. But with the 8th pick, the Atlanta Dream acquired Louisville star Shoni Schimmel. And with us at 7:35 on Game On to talk about Shoni and his other draftees from last night, former Showtime Laker, and current Dream coach Michael Cooper. Coach, I want to say first and foremost, happy birthday, and thanks for being willing to be with us on your birthday.
Thank you so much, Davey. How does people know it's my birthday? I was trying not to have any more, but thank you so much, and it's an honor to be on your show.
Yeah, I spend a little too much time on Twitter, and the organization you work for just tweeted out with a nice picture of you dunking over someone with the Lakers with a birthday hat on. So, it obviously they had photoshopped that in, but happy birthday nonetheless.
Oh, thank you.
I want to start out by asking an overall question before we get Dream specific, and an overall draft question. And it's this. As a person with inside knowledge of the draft, and obviously you have to have it to draft the players you want, how did SEC Player of the Year Megan Simmons fall to the second round behind 2 players who won't even be able to contribute this year because of ACL injuries? And I'm talking about Chelsea Gray from Duke and Natalie Achonwa from Notre Dame. What's your assessment of Megan Simmons?
Well, Megan Simmons is a 2-1. She's a player that, just for a good analogy, she's like a AI, Allen Iverson, in the NBA, WNBA, but a very talented young lady. Again, one of the reasons that she wasn't too much on our radar, because we're looking for more of needed a point guard, and that we felt that we were going to get that, and obviously we felt we got that in Shoni Schimmel. But again, Megan Simmons is an excellent player. You know what? Sometimes the draft is a big fluke in a sense, or a laugh, because there are players that shouldn't get drafted that got drafted, players that, vice versa. And so for her to wind up in New York, I don't think that that she should let this be a slight about her, whether it's going first, second, or third round, because it's about getting in the league. And she got her foot in. She got with a great, I won't call him a great coach because I'm not a big Bill and Beer fan, but she's with a great organization. She'll go there, and she's a player that there's no shot that's a bad shot to her, but she has a lot of skill, and I think she'll do well here. I go back to my days when I got drafted back in '79. I was a 64th player picked in the third round. I felt I should at least went late first. But you know what? I used that as a motivating factor to me to show all these people that passed up on me, hey, this is what you could have had, and this is what you're getting.
Well, and it clearly worked out for you, and it's, the hope of women's basketball fans, anyone outside the first round, it works out in that way for them as well. Of course, we want to focus on Shoni Schimmel, the great star out of Louisville, who really brought some showtime to the league, or to women's college basketball, I'll say. What was it that you saw in Shoni? Obviously, her passing skills, her shooting skills, but what did you see in this young lady that lets you know she's going to fit in with an Atlanta Dream team organization that's been very successful the last few years?
Well, I'm looking to up the tempo of the style of play for us, maybe 10, 12, 15 more points. And I think with Shoni, obviously has the ability to play 1, 2, or 3. That was intriguing to me. And again, as a staff, when we looked at it with my general manager and our owners and stuff, we were looking for what we didn't have, and that was a legitimate point guard that could pass the basketball. Another likeness I'd like to say, Shoni reminds me a lot of Magic Johnson. She's able to see things happen before they happen. She makes other players around her better. And again, when you have somebody like that can pass that ball, it makes it work well for your offense because you want to set a good pick so you can have that little window of being open because you got a player that can get you the basketball. And we need Erica DeSouza. We need Angel to get easy baskets and not always have to fight hard to score. And, Shoni was that. And then last but not least, she's a threat on that three-point line. It doesn't help you to have a good point guard that can pass but can't shoot because then after a while, defenses start taking away what she does well for you, and that's her passing ability. Well, you take a step or two off or half a step off Shoni, and in that matter, 2 or 3, she's going to knock that three-point shot down. So she covered a lot of areas for us, and we were really, really keeping our fingers crossed that she was there, and we were just glad that she was there at 8 for us.
Now, a lot of people remember you from the Showtime Lakers era, and what a great era that was. And you just mentioned wanting to up the tempo of the way that the Dream play, and that harkens back to the Showtime days. Shoni said post-draft that she's bringing some flavor to the league. With you being a fan of that sort of Showtime way of playing, what do you think about those comments?
I love it. I think that's great. I think the league, when I first got into this back in 99, 2000, when I got in, people were saying, why are you making that mistake? The league's not going to be here but 3 or 4 years. At that time, they were saying 5. Here we are going into our 18th season. And every year, it has gotten better and better. Obviously with Lisa and some of the greats that came along, Cynthia Cooper, the great Houston team, Tina Thompson was setting the standards and the foundation for what went on. Then you bring in the Candace Parkers, the Maya Moores. They've taken it to another level. Now you bring Brittany Griner and, some of the armchair fans that like the NBA and don't want to watch the WNBA because players don't dunk. Well, now you got Brittany Griner, Lisa Leslie, Candace. They showed that dunking is part of the women's game now. And now you bring in these other players now that kind of like they can say, oh, I see some Carmelo, I see LeBron, or I see such and such there. You have Alyssa Thomas, who her nickname is Baby Bron. So you're seeing the league go to another level as far as athleticism, as far as the stature, and as far as the basketball IQ that is sometimes lacking in the men's game. The women's game have it. And, a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to see the dunk because that was deterred. No, that's part of athletics. That's part of the sport of game of basketball. Yeah, I don't think blowing the basket so the women can dunk all the time. But the things they do below the rim is a sense of beauty. So when Shoni says, hey, I'm bringing some flair, the game needs that. They need people that with that little identity, that personality that they can come, that not just will excite the fans of Atlanta, but they'll excite the whole WNBA and make more and more people watch, because if you get more people watching, we're going to get more teams. And as our league grows, the state of the WNBA will be here for a long time. So these young kids now that are 3, 4 years old, they have a light at the end of their tunnel. So they can say, hey, I want to be like a Shoni Schimmel. I want to be like a Candace, and really work on their game starting younger so that they bring a different flair. When it's their turn in the WNBA, they'll have something else different to say about it.
Yeah, I tell you, one of the most impressive things about Alyssa Thomas being called Baby Bron is it wasn't her female cohorts that gave her that nickname. It was the men's team that gave her that nickname, and that's something I most definitely appreciate. The other 2 draftees by the Atlanta Dream last night, Inga Orakova from South Florida, and then Southern California's Cassie Harberts, obviously USC under Cynthia Cooper, who you mentioned had a really impressive season. What was it about these 2 young ladies that you thought they could come in and contribute with the Atlanta Dream?
Well, when I first took over the job, the first thing I started doing was watching the tape. And here you have a team that's been very successful 3 of the last 4 years, 3 times to get into the WNBA finals, and never, not just winning, but never winning a game. So you have to kind of like analyze that. So I watched the whole last 2 seasons. When I first got this job, I came down, got as much tape as I could, and they were missing the long ball shooter. And, every WNBA team has somebody that can shoot the ball for 3-pointers. Most players can. Erica DeSouza can shoot a 3-pointer. But they were missing that consistent 3-point shooter, that person that's on the bench or can come off the bench and knock down that 3 when they get that opportunity. And I don't know if many people know or heard of this young lady, Inga Orakova. This young lady can flat out shoot the basketball. And, one of the funny things that one of my assistant coach, Carlene Thompson, says is that when we were talking about her is that, listen, when we put her in the game, the other team is going to tell whoever's defending her, go stand next to her before she even gets on the court. Because when she steps on the court, she has to be guarded. So that's the thing we really love about her. She's a 6'1", 6'2", international player who's been playing here in the state and knows how to shoot the basketball. Doesn't require a lot of time. She's a great catch and shoot shooter. So she's going to add that spread the offense for us, spread the defense. You got to get up on her. When she has the basketball, you can't play off of her and clog up the middle. To me, Katie, championship's the one in the paint. But if you can't get the ball in the paint and it's all clogged up all the time, you need some people to stretch that, make them defensive players get out there and guard beyond the 3-point line so that we can get that ball into the post and hurt teams where we really need to hurt them. That's Inga. The second one is Cassie Harberts. And in developing the championship team, if you look around the league, and then again, just comparing things real quickly with the Miami Heat. Last year, Miami Heat won the championship with the 3rd best player on their team, Chris Bosh, not even scoring a point, because they fill their team up with I call them complementary pieces. And that's what you're going to get with Cassie Harbert. It's, every team would love to have 11, 12 starters. You have 5 starters, and I want starters behind starters. Well, you know what? Them guys are sitting on the bench, and they're starters. They feel, and they're saying, hey, I want to start. They're not happy sitting on the bench. Team chemistry comes with everybody being happy, everybody accepting a role, everybody being responsible for that role. And the basketball IQ for the women's game has really gone out the roof, and that's what Cassie Harbert brings. She's a young lady that I had an opportunity to coach for 3 years and did a great job of finally winning the Pac-12 championship with Cynthia Cooper. And she's a young lady that's going to come in, and she fits well with Erica. She fits well with Central. She's a great high post passer. She has a really unorthodox shot, but it goes in, and you'll see what I'm saying when she starts shooting it. But her basketball IQ is just tremendously high, and she's a young lady that's never been injured, that's going to come here and compete, play hard, work to get better, but she'll accept her role, and if she's given 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, she's going to come in and play the same all the time.
I like it that you say she has an unorthodox shot. Quickly before we wrap up, I had a college teammate who shot it two-handed, but every one of them went in, and she could do a step-back three two-handed. So you don't fix what isn't broken. If the ball's going through the hoop, it's not broken, so why fix it?
Bottom line. That's why they call it being great coaches. Great coaches don't mess with players' things.
Listen, your passion and love for not just the game of basketball, but women's basketball is palpable, and I know that that's something that's going to be reflected in how the Atlanta Dream plays this year, and the fact that there are going to be fans in the seats, and I will most definitely be one of those people. I appreciate your time so much. Again, happy birthday. Congratulations on a great draft. Can't wait to see what happens in a month when the Atlanta Dream finally take the court. Thank you so much, Michael Cooper.
Okay, thank you, and tell all your listeners to come on up and get out here, because it's about running with the dream, and we're not stopping until we win a championship.